That's great. Well, then I'd say I'm a customer, and I'm sure just about everybody else on the call would want to be a customer of that. So thank you, sir. Love the business. Thanks for being here. I've seen your name quite a bit, so happy to have you. How about Makisha? Do you want to say hello to the group and take a chance to pitch yourself to everybody here?
Yes, hello. My name is Makisha. My business name is called Purpose by Design. I'm a wedding and event coordinator. Right now, I'm located in Rochester, New York, and I am ready to take my business to the next level and be one of those top event planners across this world and the nation.
I love it. Well, welcome, and we're happy you're here. So thank you so much for coming back after a little hiccup there. But wonderful. Well, guys, because we got cut a little short, I'm going to kind of stop it there, and we're going to move on to the rest of class. But if you want to continue to put in your information and continue to network with each other in the chat, and then there's one more person who I'd like to have introduce themselves, and that is Mr. Dixon. Anthony, do you want to tell everybody who you are and how they can learn more about you and how they can connect with you?
Yeah, hi everybody. I hope you can see me. Again, thank you for coming back and attending these workshops. I'm pretty excited. Congratulations to everyone that I'll see on Friday for rolling with us. Again, thank you, Passon, for allowing me just to be here with you guys. It's been a pretty cool event. Again, I'm Anthony Dixon, investor as well as consultant with Spot Capital Management. Spot Capital Management is an opportunity to invest in small businesses through a partnership strategy. So if you want to learn more about us, you want a little bit more information, just check us out, spacm.com, or follow us on LinkedIn as well as Facebook. One of the things that I'm really excited about today, and I'm just going to chime in before Adam talks about it, business plans are not a stagnant document. I see I'm an investor, so I get a lot of pitch decks, a lot of people see it. And I can tell when somebody has spent like one time on it versus like making it a living, breathing organism of their business. Again, this is a detailed document that tells who you are and what you're about. Not just about building wealth, but about how am I going to satisfy someone else's needs? Because that's what you're doing. You're solving a problem for someone else. And this document just needs to stay with you and evolve as you're growing. I check my document every day, every month, once, and just re-update or see where I'm going. I hold myself accountable to what it says and how it guides my business. One of the things that I keep telling you, Spot Capital Management is a holding company. And the reason why I say that is because that is my mission statement. You'll see it on any page that I have. You'll see it on that document. So people understand that is our purpose, to invest in small businesses using a different strategy. And I think that's super important for you to realize. Again, this is not a one-time thing. It doesn't have to be 50 pages. It could be a couple of pages, like Adam is going to show you, 7 pages. But it has to be something that you continuously look at, hold yourself accountable to it, and change as your business evolves. It looks at where you've been to where you want to go. And definitely us in banking and investment, we can tell when someone has put no thought into it. So make sure that you're really, really, really diving deep into who you are, what you want your business to be, represent, and what problem you're solving for your consumers. So thank you again. Sorry about that whole mishap, and I'm glad everybody came back.
Anthony, thank you so much. Anthony is an incredibly valuable partner with us here at Pathstone Enterprise Center, and has really helped us create the curriculum for boot camp, and is just an integral part of our success. And so, Anthony, thank you for taking this ride with us. And looks like Anthony Sidney would like your information as well, so she's asked for that in the chat. Cool. Well, we've got introductions out of the way. I guess you guys know me. My name's Adam Tidrow. I'm Chief of Staff, Business Development Officer here at Pathstone. What you may not know is that, excuse me, I've written a book called The 7-Page Business Plan. I've consulted with a few hundred businesses over the last 7 or 8 years, and I've done it in all parts of Indiana and now in Western New York. So I specialize in startups and early stage businesses. So I'm excited to be here with everybody, and this is the kind of stuff that I really enjoy doing. So thank you for having me, and thank you for showing up for yourselves, and thank you for showing up for the rest of the group here. And I am ready to get started and to talk more about writing your business plan. So the business plan, like Anthony said, is kind of a living document. It changes when you need it to change. You don't need to write a business plan and then have that be your, what you don't want to do is write a business plan, have this huge business, not feel like you can deviate from it and call audibles when you need to, and be flexible. So your business plan is kind of this guiding light for you. It's a reminder of here's who you are, here's what you're doing, here's who you're serving, and here's how you're making it sustainable. And it's a way for you to kind of plan out big picture stuff as well as short-term goals and more daily operations around your mission and vision here. So if you saw our email that came in last week, and then I think again this morning, you should have seen a link in there to the 7-page business plan, and it's a form via form stack on our website. I'm going to put that in the chat right now so that anybody who wants to actually follow along and start writing your business plan as we go through this together can. And if you have questions, please put them in the chat or speak up, and we'll answer those questions. Now, of course, we can't answer, if there's 800 questions, we have to pick the ones that kind of work for everybody. But if you need help with your business plan, if you want help writing that business plan, at the end of the class today, let's talk, and we can set up times and schedules for everybody who wants help, and we will help everybody write their business plan who wants help with that. So I'm going to put this in here, and it's now in the chat. The link is now in the chat to the 7-page business plan fillable online form. So you guys can go ahead and pull that up if you want. And we're going to go ahead and get started. I know this is overwhelming, but it's going to be fun, and we're going to make it really simple. And that's the goal of this plan. So the 7-page business plan asks you to really answer 3 simple questions. And then there's a few additional questions in there, but the 3 main questions you're asking are the questions that we talked about really at the beginning of this entire workshop 7 weeks ago, which is, what problem are you solving? What solution are you providing? And then how will you provide your solution in a sustainable manner? So what problem are you solving? What gap did you notice and you want to fill? What solution are you providing? What product or service are you providing or creating to fill that gap? And then how will you provide that solution in a sustainable manner? What that means is, how will you be profitable? How will you make this business last long term so that you can make money for yourself and for your employees, and be able to provide this solution well into the future? Before we get going on answering those questions, there's a few things to keep in mind. One, this is a roadmap. Again, it's not the Bible, it's not law, it's not rules. This is a roadmap for you. It's flexible. You can change it when you need to. You can be if you need to alter your strategy, you can do that. This is your document. You are the sole creator of this document. You have total control over you and your business, which means you need to set your destination and stay flexible. So this is a roadmap. Know that there are multiple ways to get to your destination. Every time you guys set out on a road trip, or even just going down to 7-Eleven or wherever we go, or Target, there's a lot of different routes to take to get there. But the destination is the goal. And so staying flexible is really important in this. And just take this step by step. Don't feel like you have to answer every question all at once. Don't feel like you have to know everything right now. By the time you get through your business plan, you'll be able to answer a lot of questions, and you have the knowledge. I mean, it's your business, which means you need to be the expert. And by being the expert, you're going to be able to answer these questions. And you're going to be able to kind of see into the future of, okay, if I want things to be like this, then I have to answer the questions this way. I need to know who my customer is. I need to know what my product looks like. And I need to know how to price my product and things like that. So, which brings us to the first question, which is, what is the problem? What problem are you fixing? What problem have you identified? What gap exists in the market? And we're going to talk about a few real world examples here in the next slide. But every business solves a problem. Every business says there's a gap in the market that exists, and I'm going to go fill it. And then the next question is, why is this problem? I mean, problems have reasons that they exist. Is this a problem? So let's say it's, I'm going to use a really, an example like the fire department. The fire department's a business, even though it's a government entity, it still exists for a reason. There's a problem. There are emergencies, and those emergencies need to be dealt with. And so why is that problem that emergencies need to be dealt with? Why is it a problem? Because emergencies can lead to loss of life, loss of livelihood, injury, destruction of property, things like that. And then whose problem is it? If we think about the fire department, it's the person whose house is on fire, who's in a car accident, who's having a medical emergency, whose cat is in a tree. It's their problem. Eventually, though, it can spread out and become a problem of many other people. So let's talk about the problems that exist here. What problem is Nike solving? What problem did Nike see? If you guys want to answer these questions, put it in the chat. So what problem do you think Nike is solving? What problem do you think Boeing is solving? And what problem do you think Geico is solving? I'll give it just a minute here if you guys want to put your answer in the chat for what problem do you think Nike is solving? What gap did Nike see in the market? What gap in the market there? So for Nike, there's a gap that exists for, shoes, quality sports equipment. That's exactly right. Quality sports equipment, quality active gear, and stuff that's quality but also affordable at a moderate price. So Nike said, there's a spot in the market for us. Let's go in there, and our strategy is to capture the market for the people who want a quality product and are willing to pay a little bit more than the low-cost provider, but they don't want to pay $400 for one pair of shoes. Typically, I know that Jordans can get pretty expensive and things, but for most people, paying $100 for a pair of Nikes or $60 for a pair of Nikes is right in that wheelhouse. They filled the gap as well. Boeing is one of really two airplane builders and engineers. So Boeing said, airlines need airplanes. The government needs airplanes. So that's the problem we're going to focus on is fixing the problem of people needing airplanes. And then Geico said people need to transfer risk. So Geico provides insurance products. And what insurance products do is they transfer risk. They said people are losing their homes, they're losing their cars, they're losing property because they're taking on all this risk. And then when something happens, they don't have the means to make themselves whole. And also with Geico, we all know their slogan, 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance. Nike, just do it. So with Geico, that they are trying to be a low-cost provider. They're trying to set themselves apart by saying, if you go with us, you're going to save money, just like Marcus. If you go with us, we're trying to help people save money. So that's the problem they're fixing, is making sure people can manage their risk and save money at the same time. So once we ask the question of what is the problem, and we start answering that, then we move on to what is your solution? Is your solution a product or a service? what does your solution look like? How will customers access your solution? And when I say, what does your solution look like? I really mean that. I mean, literally, what does your solution look like? You know, if it's a product, what does the product physically look like? If your solution is a service, give yourself an overview. Give your reader an overview of how the service works. It could be a flow chart of service. I mean, I know internally we use a lot of flow charts for how we conduct business and do our technical assistance process and things like that. So when you provide a service, you need to know how that works. What happens at the first touch? So I'll go over our flow chart here with you real quick. When we do technical assistance, we've built out this flow chart that says, on the first touch, Adam or Jahida meet with the business owner. And then the next box is Adam or Jahida go through and we look at our technical assistance roster and find the person who's the best fit for that client. The next box is we pair the client and the TA provider together with us, and we all meet. And then from there, we go through another process to make sure that everybody is on the same page. So really, if you're providing a service, show me how you get in touch with your customer and how you provide that service. What are the steps in providing a service? If you think about a plumber has to get in contact. You have to get in contact with the plumber. Then they have to schedule you. Then they have to go to your house. And then they have to assess the problem. Then they fix the problem. Then they bill you. And then they take your money in. I mean, it may seem like a simple process, but if you're providing a service, which a lot of you are, make sure you are able to map out that service in as much detail as you can so that you know all the steps that are necessary to get from point A to point P. I just made that up on the spot. I like the rhyme. So, in the next question is, how will your customers access your solution? How will they find you? How will they, are you going to be a wholesaler? So is your customer thank you, Belenka. Is your customer the retailer, or is your customer the end consumer? So if you think about, if you're creating jewelry, are you selling directly to the consumer, or do you want to create a bunch of jewelry and then sell it to a boutique or Walmart or Target and then have them sell it to the consumer? How are people accessing your solution? So with Nike, they sell to retailers. They do a little bit of online sales through their website, or through other means, but most of their, the majority of their sales, the vast majority of their sales are done directly through other retailers that are not Nike retail outlets. It's Kohl's and again, Target and Macy's and Foot Locker, Finish Line, things like that. So Nike doesn't go directly to the end consumer. They go to, there's a middleman there. There's a retailer. So how are people going to be accessing your solution? And then this is really important. I want you guys to really think about this. This is maybe one of the most important things you have to think about is, why is your solution better than solutions that are currently being provided? Are you going to be the low-cost provider, the high-cost provider? Are you going to be of better quality? Are you going to be of lesser quality so that you can cut price and compete that way? And thinking about your value proposition, what sets you apart from others is really of the utmost importance, because this tells you why people should buy from you rather than somebody else. Is it because you're more readily available or more quickly provided and delivered? I think we all know that there are businesses who, if we order from them on Monday, we can get something by Wednesday. And there are other places where if we order by Monday, we may be waiting a week or more for the same product. I know that, especially during the pandemic now, I order all of my groceries through Instacart. And it's actually quicker than me going to the grocery store. I don't really have to put shoes on even, which is great. I can order my groceries, and within a couple hours, they're at my doorstep. And and that's what sets Instacart apart from, some other shopper or me going and doing it, is that they are quick and convenient. And I love that. So, and just as we talk about what sets you apart from others in terms of your better qualities and why people should buy from you, you also have to be aware of your own weaknesses. Where are you weakest? What makes your business, what's a threat in terms of competition for your business? I'm big on self-awareness, both in my personal life and in business. And I think that knowing your strengths is important, but understanding your weaknesses is just as important. And it's not really until we recognize and understand our weaknesses that we can begin to fix them or compensate for them. So I think you guys are going to hear my doorbell ring because I am getting a delivery, but I'm not going to answer the door. They'll leave it out there. So keep in mind, your solution is going to have weaknesses. They all do. Every solution, every product, every service has a weakness, and this is your hour of honesty. We need to be serious about it without being completely self-deprecating. The goal of this question is to not tear down your product or solution, but rather to better understand it, and so we can be better. So, is your product hard to access right now? Do you have low visibility in your market, which a lot of startups have a problem with visibility? They don't have a lot of exposure to the market right now. It's hard for people to say, oh, I know that brand. It's going to take some time as you grow. And then, is your market really small? Therefore making it harder for you to scale your business? Do you have an education problem about your product? So do people know their problem but not understand your solution? And then you have to kind of teach them what your solution does and why they should buy from you. So keep all that in mind as you're building your plan and thinking about your business. So what solution is Nike providing? Like we talked about, Nike saw a gap where people needed high quality athletic apparel. And now they go in and they provide shoes and athletic apparel at a good price. They said, here's the problem, we're going to fill it. And they put a round peg and a round hole. And with Boeing, they said, people need airline travel, they need airplanes, we're going to build those airplanes. Geico said people need to mitigate their risk. They need to pass along that risk of something happening to their car or their house or their personal property. And we are going to step in and we are going to help them. We're going to share that risk with them so that if something happens to their house, they're going to pay us a little bit every month. And then if something happens to their house, we're going to step in and help cover that. If it's their car, we're going to step in and help cover that. So it's what's the problem and how are we providing a solution? If you think about it another way, the problem Geico saw is that people are losing an entire generation of wealth overnight when a tree falls on a home. Well, how can we help prevent a loss of wealth from an entire generation? Okay, Ebony, thank you so much. Have a good day. So how can we stop people from losing their wealth? Well, let's share the risk. You give us a little bit of money, and in the case that something happens, which is a big if, in the case of something happening, we will make you whole. We will get you back to where you were. So the next question now is, how do you sustain your solution? And we won't get too caught up in this, but how do you sustain your solution? And what that means is, how do you make your solution profitable? How do you keep people, how do you bring in enough money to cover all the costs you need to cover? And then also have enough money to invest in the business. And as we've gone through this, I want to give you a chance to kind of chime in if there's anything you wanted to add up to this point or want to start adding now. I know I kind of, I get on my soapbox and just kind of go, but is there anything you want to add as we've gone through this? Did we lose Anthony?
Oh, sorry about that. I was on mute too.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Gotta remember. Yeah, a lot of times that was actually good. It's great to kind of look at your business from a customer's perspective. And as you're building it, you have to solve that problem based on their needs, not your own. Sometimes we get this innate ability to say, I know what the problem is and I know how to solve it without getting feedback or some kind of drive from consumers. So as you're doing that process, put yourself in their position. Think about how your business will satisfy their needs and how they are going to interpret your business. And that's why you kind of write it out, because the more you write it out, the more it makes it real. The more it makes it real, the more you can erase it with a pencil or cross it out with a pen and start all over again with that concept. Again, science is about testing the hypothesis, and that hypothesis is then translated by the dollars and cents you get back from people understanding what you're doing and how you're making them feel. So again, like he said, continue to build your business based on what are you solving, how you're solving it, and thinking about, is the customer really getting that experience that they know and need? And then looking at that value. A value proposition, as Adam said before, is very crucial when you're talking about marketing and when you're talking about educating your population. Apple is a really cool one that you can look at as a case study. Nobody knew they needed a phone with all that technology on it. You still don't need it. But the reason why he says that you need it is because he wants to give you back time. Time is the most crucial thing that we have. And we should be spending it with our families. We should be spending on stuff that we're creative and that we really enjoy and not just doing some kind of work. So again, he had to teach his consumers that they needed their time back. So that's why you need not just to answer your phone, but you need text messaging. You need apps to make your day more doable, to give you back the time so you can be a better person. And so that's the way that you need to think as you're building your business and looking at that solution for your customer.
Yeah, I agree. And like Anthony said, you know, with Apple, they had to kind of teach the public why their solution mattered. Why does the iPhone matter? Why do people need a phone and a music player and an internet browser all on one device? And, you know, why does that? He had to go back and show people this will save you time. It will save you space in your pocket. It will give you more. It will give you access to more information. It will give you access to more data. It will give you access to more, on a base level, just more music. And a lot of us, when we start our businesses, we have to do that too. We have to educate people as to not just what our product is, but why it solves problems that they don't even know they have. I mean, 20 years ago, how many of us thought we would have a computer in our pocket, a computer that was at that time more powerful than our personal computers? I mean, my phone can do just about everything my laptop can. As a matter of fact, I use my phone probably 5 times as much as I use my laptop. It can do everything I need. And part of that is just growing up with it. But, you know, with these other services, I'm a huge fan of Nike and the Nike story. And actually, I was just talking to the Pat Stone team, Jahida and Taylor, about the book Shoe Dog by the founder of Nike. And they had a hell of a time convincing people that their product was worth it when they first started back in the late 60s. They had a totally new design for the bottom of the shoe, for the sole of the shoe. It was a running shoe, and people were like, this doesn't make any sense. We already have a running shoe. People already run in these other shoes, you know, like Chuck Taylor All-Stars. And can you guys imagine being a professional athlete wearing Chuck Taylor All-Stars now? I mean, there's no way, you know, those guys wouldn't be able to do what they do now. And it's because Nike came in and changed the game. And it took them a long time, you know, a couple of decades really, to get to the point where they were the standard bearer of athletic shoes, especially in that price range. And they came in and said, here's what it is, and here's why it's better, and we're going to prove it to you. And Barb, I have been wanting to start it. Yes, Barb, I don't think we're far away from having our phones beam me up. So that's I look forward to that day. But Anthony, did you want to say something? I saw you take yourself off mute there, sir.
Yeah, I saw the question from Ms. Gunther. I just wanted her to come online and kind of ask the question, just so we can get a
Okay.
little bit more about what she was referring to.
Yeah. Jamini, do you want to ask your question here to the group, and maybe Anthony and I can help answer that?
Well, I was doing the sheets, the worksheets, and I got stuck with the breakdown because I have multiple products and it's customizable. Like I can, I know how to charge for them, but it's all based on what goes into making it. So it's a formula to get my cost, but that's not going to work for every item, I guess, putting it into the worksheet. So I'm having an issue. Like I know what my fixed costs are and variable costs are, but at the same time, it's like you got different products at different price points. So how would it's a customizable thing. So you never know what somebody is going to pay. And when you're trying to do the business plan, how do you incorporate that is what I'm having issues with.
So do you have the actual book?
Yeah, I have the book. I printed it out.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you. Yeah, that's right. Everybody should have access to the PDF version of the book. I gave that out to everybody for free. Typically like $25. So just download the PDF. Don't buy the book. Yeah. So Anthony, and I'll let you kind of cut in here too if you want. When you're working on that, you can do, to make it simple, you can do kind of an average cost, what you think the average cost of a product is going to be to you, like how much you think the average version of your solution of the product. And what are you selling again? I'm sorry.
Well, my whole idea was to do customizable T-shirts, but it's also
Okay.
other stuff that go along with it. Like I make memorial lanterns. Like it's gonna be blended with other things. So that's where I'm trying to figure out how to group it all together. Cause
Okay.
this thing is made for like a single item, saying like I'm just selling a T-shirt. Okay, my T-shirt's gonna be $25. I could figure that part out, but when you add extras, it's the part that I'm having problem with.
Okay. I'm going to answer another question real quick that everybody's asking. Guys, the PDF, I'm going to see if Jahida can get that in the chat, the link to the PDF, but there is, the PDF is in the post-workshop email that everybody got. So if you go to your email, it'll be in there, and there's a little button that you can press, and it'll take you to that PDF, and you get the full version of the book. It's like 29 or 30 pages. But yeah, when you have a lot of products like that, one, we can work outside of class on that and kind of talk about the best way to do that. But to make it easy, to make it simple as you get started here, you can take like an average, what you anticipate an average shirt costing you. So maybe it's $18. Maybe you're going to have a lot of things that are like $12 and a lot of things that are $22. You can say, okay, so it's going to be around $18. And you can put that in. And what I want to, and you saw this in the book, what I want you to remember is to be cautiously optimistic. So when you're talking about financials, you want to be higher on the costs and lower on the revenue. That way, if there's an issue, you're not like, oh, everything's going to be really cheap and I'm going to sell a ton of product. You want to kind of go the other way where things are going to be more expensive than I'm anticipating. And I want to be able to cover that, or I want to look at that with, my sales being less than ideal. So Anthony, is there anything you'd like to add to that, especially when we talk about kind of variable costs and stuff for a customizable product?
Yeah, that's the same approach that I would use. You always want to take the average, and then you want to break it down to even more. Like you don't have to get granular where you know every cost to everything, but you want to make sure that you want to have items like of cost of goods sold, which we learned last week. How much items are you actually going to stock? How many times are you going to see someone want something versus you just having a long list of products. When you first start out, you want to have that, which we call like your everybody knows you because of the t-shirt design, right? And then you start adding on once they start to say, hey, this is something that I want. Can you do this? And then you start to look at, all right, this is becoming profitable because more people are asking for it. Customizable is one of those things where you do have to take an average, but you got to look at what is something that you know that you need in your inventory all the time, and what are some of the things that you know are going to be like one-off versus a whole streamline of products. Yeah, it does get a little difficult with variable cost when you're talking about customizable, but again, you want to know in your store or in your location, what are you going to kind of stock up on versus what do you know is something that you're going to buy just because a customer asked for it. So, but yeah, taking that average, everything that Adam kind of said, kind of looks at that way. I hope that helps.
Yeah. And real quick, Eric, the PDF is in the reminder email that we sent out to everybody this morning and on Friday. And there's a button you can click in there on the, I think there's like 3 buttons in a row, and you can click on the business plan button, and that'll pull up that PDF. So, but yeah, what I want to remind you guys is that everybody's, this is all a formula. This is all a basic format and stuff. But if you guys want specific help with any of these sections, including the final section, which is the numbers section, please let us know. We're more than happy to help. We're not going to cover the numbers too much today, just because that can get really sticky and there can be a lot of questions there. But anybody who wants help with that, please let us know, and we can set up a time to kind of go over things. And but when you're working on your business, there's one thing you want to, when you're doing this initial financial cost analysis, this initial analysis, you want to keep in mind that you want to get to a break-even point, or you at least want to understand what that break-even point is. And your break-even is where your total revenue, your total sales, the total money coming in is equal to the total cost, because that tells you how much money you have to bring in to cover all your costs. Bard, yes, the email should be in your inbox. There should be at least one of them, if not 2. So yeah, your total revenue should equal your total cost. And what that allows you to do is say, I know exactly how much money I have to make every month so that I'm not dipping into my savings or having to come up with money another way. And then you'll be able to break it down into how many hours of service you have to provide or how many products you have to sell at the given price. And there's a number of ways to kind of figure that out. In the book, in the 7-page business plan, which everybody has access to now, and we will send that out in the follow-up email as well. We will send that out again. Jahid is actually going to put that link in the chat here in a little bit, so that everybody has access to that PDF. But we will send that PDF link out again so everybody has access to that. But again, the financial portion of this can be a little sticky because there's so much to keep in mind. But don't let the numbers scare you. This is the scary part, because people think, oh, I don't know, and I got to keep all these things in mind, and I have to break down all my costs and everything like that. For those of you who have gone through boot camp, you're going to be invited to go to the next level, which starts in 2 weeks. And what you'll be able to do there is there's going to be a little more financial discussion there. So you'll be taking into account not only the business side of things, but also your personal finances. So you can see how much money you have to bring in every month to cover both personal and business expenses. So it'll be kind of an even more comprehensive break even, where it's taking in your personal and business expenses. Great, cool. So yeah, I want to just keep that in mind. We'll go through the break even analysis here real quick. You have total revenue equal total cost. So total revenue is the total number of hours that you're providing a service, or the total number of products that you've sold, multiplied by the price of that hour or the price of that product. So let's say you are, you're a consultant and you work for $100 an hour, and you provide in a month you provide 10 hours of service. Well, that's $100 an hour times 10 hours is $1,000 bucks. And then you look at your total costs, and your total costs is the sum of your total fixed costs and your total variable costs. Now, fixed costs are going to be things that don't fluctuate based on your sales. So fixed costs are things like rent and utilities and insurance and payment on equipment, loan payment, things like that. It's things that all that money doesn't change whether you sell 0 t-shirts or 1,000 t-shirts. The email is in the chat now, everybody, so you can access that PDF through the chat. So fixed costs are things that are fixed. These numbers will not change based on sales. Variable costs, if we think about t-shirts, variable costs are the costs of, okay, if I sell 10 t-shirts and each t-shirt costs me $5 to purchase and to make, then every time I sell a new t-shirt, my variable costs go up. Because if I sell 1 t-shirt, my variable cost is $1. If I sell 2 t-shirts, my variable costs are $10, 3, 15, all that. So your total cost is the sum of your total fixed costs plus your total variable costs. And that's all your costs. So all your costs need to equal your total revenue for you to understand your break even. Are we cool on that? Does anybody have questions on that? I know number stuff can be tricky, and doing it virtually can be kind of a pain in the butt. But does anybody have questions on anything up to this point, including the financial stuff? I'll give it a couple seconds here. And if you want to come off mute to ask your question, please feel free to do that. Cool.
I just get lost when y'all start doing numbers.
Is that Jasmine?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So Jasmine, I totally understand that. And it really does help to do it one-on-one rather than in a big group setting like this, because numbers are hard to do abstract. You really need concrete examples. And so anybody who wants to go through that, let me know, and we'll work on that together. I know I enjoy doing that stuff, and we have a couple. Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm writing your name down right now.
Thank you.
If you guys want help with the money portion of the business plan, go ahead and put it in the chat, and we will get you teamed up with somebody. And it may take us a couple days to kind of figure all that out, but we will get you teamed up with somebody. We're working really hard on graduation right now, so it'll take a couple days. But yeah. So again, this is don't be intimidated by the number stuff. When we help you and we can use your actual numbers, you're going to be the expert. You're going to be able to guide us, and we're just going to fill in boxes for you. And I promise, I've done this. This book is based on my consulting method that I've used for 7 years. So, and I've taught with this consulting method, probably 250 business owners I've used this method with. And by the time we get to that point where we're doing numbers, they're able to throw the numbers out at me. And then I'm just filling in boxes and showing them how the formula works. So, and the formula is something that, obviously it's not my formula. It's, accountant's formula. So, yeah, we will get you help with that. Do not be intimidated by any part of your business. You can do it. You guys have shown up for this class. Showing up is half the battle. So we will help you any way we can with the other half. Marilyn, that's exactly right. It's hard until you actually do it. for the first time. And once you do it that first time, then you kind of see, okay, this makes a lot of sense. I understand the logic of it now. And that's really the hard part, is getting to the point where you understand the logic. But once you understand that logic, it'll click and you're like, oh, I could do this for everybody. And then you're going to call Pathstone and you're going to say, hey, can I be a consultant and help people do their break-even analysis? And I'm going to say, yes, we'd love that. So I'm looking forward to that. So remember, for break-even, the total money in needs to equal total money out. Total revenue equals total costs. All the money in, think about it the same way you think about with your home budget. You know, all your income needs to, you know, what does it take for you to break even on the month, to have the same amount of money as month? And I know a lot of us have a lot more month left over than money, but when you think about, but that's why we're here today, is so that we can change our financial futures. But you want to think about, you have to just understand, what do I have to do so that my total revenue equals my total costs? And I know I'm saying that a lot, but tonight you're going to dream of the phrase total revenue equals total costs. So we're going to go through a summary here real quick. Remember, the 3 key points of your business plan are knowing your problem, knowing your solution, and being able to provide the solution to that problem sustainably. So what problem are you solving? How are you solving that problem? And then how are you going to do that in a sustainable fashion? How are you going to get your total revenue to equal your total costs? Cool? And then know your audience. When you're writing an executive summary, and the executive summary is a 1 or 2 page document that shows it's really your pitch. It ends up being the pitch, and then the business plan kind of goes into detail. Your executive summary is going to be the first page of your business plan that somebody's going to read, and it's going to cover those key points: the problem, the solution, and the sustainability of it. And when you're writing your executive summary, you have to know your audience. Is this for a sales pitch? Is this for a presentation to a group? Is this so I can, are you making this presentation to an investor or to a loan, to a lender like Pathstone? Are you giving this business plan to somebody who you want to bring on as your partner? Who is going to be reading your plan? And then you have to tailor the executive summary to that audience. And because, look, somebody who wants to be your partner is going to be interested in a few different items than somebody who wants to, who's looking to finance you. And then the sales presentation is something totally different. We're working with somebody right now on a sales presentation and helping them draft their executive summary so that they can go in and say, you know what, we're a startup, we're a new business, but let me tell you a little bit about us. And here's who we are. And you don't want to put in there things like, you know, we need this much money to help get going. It's there, you're really educating your reader about who you are, what problem you're solving, and how your solution to that problem is a better solution than others, and why it solves that problem the best. So that's the executive summary. The executive summary puts everything onto 1 or 2 pages, and there's a million articles about executive summaries out there, but in the book, I knock it down to a couple pages and give you a chance to kind of write it out there too. So the executive summary, again, is taking your business plan and putting all the key points on 1 page. Man, that hour has flown by. So if you guys have questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. And what I'm going to do is kind of recap what we've learned over the last 7 weeks. Real quick here.
Hey, Adam.
So the first week Anthony, go ahead.
I just had a brief comment. Again, guys, until you are going to make that sales pitch, or you're going to look for finances, or you're going to look for a partner, this document and that summary is just for you for right now. And so when you're writing it, remember, this is also to jog your memory of what you were thinking and the best way you can move forward to execute, because that's the whole goal. It's not just to write it, but it's to have something occur because you wrote it, like a partner or someone comes in. So for right now, for a lot of you, it's just writing it just to put it down, to put something concrete, so you can have it and it can move and it could change and be flexible and durable, like Adam was saying. So always keep that in mind too. And it's definitely tough with the numbers, but you'll get the hang of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Anthony. That's right. You know, you may not know who your audience is yet, but you will at some point. So like Anthony said, write it in a way that it makes it a little more malleable and flexible. So when you do know your audience, you just have to go in and tweak it a little bit. So, but get something down, because right now you are your audience and you're trying to understand your business and you're trying to get those thoughts out of your brain and onto paper. So go ahead and do that. So remember, in week 1, we talked about the idea, and we really talked about this concept of product and solution, or sorry, problem and solution. What's the problem you've identified, and what's the solution you're providing to fix that problem? What gap do you see? How are you filling it? You know, yeah, what do you see in the market or not see in the market? What pain are you seeing that you can help to heal? The next week, we talked about the market and the sales plan. We talked about understanding who your customer is. We talked about doing research with that. Remember, we had the Buffalo Public Library come in and talk to us about how to find our demographic research and things like that, so that we can understand who are we selling to. We know who we want to sell to, but how can I get demographic data on them so I can really understand them and understand where to find them, where to reach them, and then understand their buying habits. The next week, we talked about formation and legal structure. So week 3 was all formation and legal structure. Are you an LLC? Are you a sole proprietorship? Are you an S Corp? Are you a partnership? Are you a C Corp? And a lot of us are in those sole proprietorships and LLCs. Week 4 was break glass in case of emergency. We talked with Lamar Ward about business continuity and disaster recovery, and we talked about how to be prepared in case of a pandemic, a natural disaster, but also things that are a lot more likely, things like snowstorms, power outages, data theft, anonymous, hacking your Zoom call. How do you prepare yourself and make sure that you can prevent any major loss of data to those things? Oh, by the way, in week 2, we also talked about the sales plan. I mean, Anthony did a great job talking about the sales plan. And, you know, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you are the salesperson for your business. You are the #1 salesperson. And if you're not a salesperson, you better find a partner who can knock it out of the park. So you have to be the salesperson for your business, not just to your customer, but to everybody you come in contact with. And then in week 5, we talked about financial statements and projections and budgeting. And keep in mind that all of these are still available on YouTube, and they will be available on YouTube until the end of time. So you guys can go back and look at all those. But yeah, we talked about financial statements and how projections can help you create a roadmap. And you can see, okay, this is where we are, this is where we want to be, and here are the goals we have to hit so that I can start taking home $100,000 a year from the business, or $60,000 a year from the business, or $250,000 a year from the business. Last week, we talked about personal finance and kind of getting your house in order, but the real thing we talked about the majority of the time was business ethics. And what does it mean to be an ethical business owner? What does it mean to be an ethical business person in the world? How do we make decisions that maintain our integrity? How do we base our decisions on our values and on our own morals? And how do we operate within our community so that we are doing unto others as we would have done unto us? And how are we making decisions about running our business and making those really tough calls? Because I'll tell you, as all of us, we're all adults here, we know that things aren't always black and white. It isn't always, we have option A and option B. There's a lot of gray area in there. And business ethics understanding your own ethics and understanding how to act ethically help us navigate those waters a little more easily. And then this week, we talked about the business plan. We talked about taking all these ideas, all these skills, all these disciplines, and putting them into one document. So you can say, this is my business plan. This is my roadmap. This is what I'm going to use on my journey of business ownership and financial success and community change. So this has been just an awesome 7 weeks for me. I hope you guys have had a similar experience. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've learned something every week, even if it's only one thing you're able to take and use for yourself. I hope you've taken something away every week. And I want to take a minute here. If you guys have questions, please put them in the chat here. But I want to take a minute here and just talk about what it means to be successful. And I thought about this a lot last night, and this is probably the most thought I've given to anything in the last 6 months. But this was hard. This was hard for you guys. This was hard for us to move an entirely physical workshop online and to be able to try to measure impact and see, are we engaging with people? Are they getting what they thought they'd get out of this? And taking that all from a physical setting into a digital setting and having a virtual setting, having everybody show up. It's work every week, but it's so worth it. And what I am inspired by the most is all of you who show up. You show up for yourselves. If it's 1 week, it's 1 week. If it's 7 weeks, it's 7 weeks. Regardless of how often you've shown up, every time you've shown up, you've been here, you've shown up for yourself. Nobody's making you do this. It's, you didn't have to put up any money for it. So, you're not losing anything by being here or by not being here. You've shown up for yourselves, and that is the absolute number one first step to success, is saying, I am worthy of my own time. I am worthy of spending time on me and learning more and changing my life. And I think a lot of us talk a lot about, I want to change my community, I want to change the world, I want to leave something for my children. And that is absolutely admirable, and those are goals that we should all have. But it has to start with you wanting to change something about your life, something about you. And everybody who's shown up has not only said, I want to change something, but now you said, I'm changing something. I'm doing this. I've got this. And I love that. That is 100% why I do this work, because I get to see people change their lives every single day. And I get to play some really tiny, small part in that. I'm long-winded. I get that. And maybe that's the role I play, is people saying, I never want to have to go listen to that guy again. So I'm just going to go make a success of myself and go. But I am, please know that by being here, you are well on your way to success. You have started the next leg of your success journey. So thank you. Thank you for showing up, and thank you for being such a great group of people to interact with. This has been, we are here every week, and we get to see you guys. And I feel like a teacher saying bye to my kids. So I appreciate everybody showing up and being engaged. And, we weren't sure what was going to happen with this when we first started. We said, okay, because there were a couple times with other workshops that we did virtually where we had like 6 people show up. And every week we have somewhere between 35 and 55 people. And that is more than we had in person the first 2 boot camps we did in March before we had to go on lockdown. More people have shown up to this. More people are putting in their time virtually than they did physically. And that's a huge win for us. And we said, it's not so much about how many people show up, but how many people are engaged, how many people want to be there, how many people are taking things away. And we hear from you guys every week through the chat, through follow-up, through phone calls, that you guys are here and you're paying attention and you're taking stuff and you're asking questions. and you're contributing and you're answering questions from your classmates. And that is just, I'm so proud of everybody who's here. So I want to thank you for showing up for yourselves and for showing up for your classmates. So before we wrap up, does anybody have any questions or about the topics today, or about graduation, what you need to do for graduation? Again, if you've attended at least 4 classes, you can please send us your bio and your headshot to Jahida's email, and we'll put that in there again. Jahida will put her email in the chat again, so you guys can send your bio and your headshot to her. If you don't want your headshot, that's okay. Just send us your bio. Tell us a little bit about who you are. But I want to kind of open it up. If anybody has any questions about today or anything else, please feel free to ask them now.
How specific do we have to get with our bio if we're just at the starting phase of our business?
Yeah, Barb, just tell us who you are and, you know, a little bit about you, you know, where you live, and then, you know, not your address, but just your city. And then a little bit about what you want your business to be. You know, if it's an idea, you know, Barb has an idea for business XYZ to do these things. So think about, it can be something as simple as that, you know, just 3 to 5 sentences about who you are and what you want to do with your business and why you want to do that.
Great, thanks.
Yeah. Yes, graduation is going to be on Zoom, everybody. Are there any other questions before we get into the last couple slides here about food? Well, before we get in there, I want to thank a couple people. I want to thank everybody who attended the last 7 weeks. Again, if you were here for one class or for all 7 or anywhere in between, thank you so much. This has been a ton of fun for me and a ton of fun for the crew here at Pathstone. I want to thank all of our presenters, all of our instructors. I'm not going to be able to name all of them by name, I don't think. But thank you everybody who was part of this and who presented to the groups. Anthony, my man, thank you for being my partner in crime on this. Thank you for showing up every week and for helping me create this curriculum and helping us distribute it in a great way and helping us be more engaging to the group here. You are, again, an invaluable asset to Pathstone, and we really appreciate you and SPA being a part of this.
Yeah, thank you, Adam. Again, I only helped him. This was all him and Pathstone. So thank you again for allowing me to be here. And thank you everybody who attended. Some of the things that we put on this curriculum is something that I've seen over my career that I saw a lot of people need help. And don't worry, one of the things I want to tell you, as I was a former teacher, K-12, I actually taught humanities. And one of the things I always tell my students, I don't meet with you until you try. So get out, just try. Even if the numbers are all over the place, even if everything doesn't make sense, just try to put it on paper, because then a mentor has an idea of where you are going, and that's a better discussion. So I thank you all. Congratulations on those who have done more than 4 sessions, and I'll see you on graduation. And I enjoyed this, and definitely thank you again for all the sponsors and the opportunity.
Yes, thank you. Big thank you to our sponsor, KeyBank, for allowing us to do this. They pop in every now and then on these calls. KeyBank will be at graduation on Friday, and they will get a chance to shout out some folks and say thank you to everybody, and they will get to see the fruits of their labor. So thank you to them. And then the folks that I want to thank real quick, Dion, who couldn't be here today, she's still on vacation, a much deserved vacation, a much needed vacation. Dion is so passionate about this work and so passionate about every one of you. If she could, these workshops would be 24 hours long, because Dion would want to talk to each of you for an hour and understand your story and get to know you. And That's the heart she has, and that's just who she is. I want to thank Hubert, our president at Pecky, for giving us leadership and allowing us to do this and allowing us to have some fun with this. And I know he is going to be transitioning away from Pathstone and into a more relaxed life of retirement here soon. We're not supposed to say the word retirement around him, but Hubert, thank you for allowing us to do this and for giving us that leadership. Taylor Hosby, you're brand new. Thanks for coming on and joining us and being involved with us. And she's going to be doing a lot of, again, you guys are going to be in touch with Taylor here in the next few weeks. She's going to be asking you guys a lot of questions, I think, over the next few months, just kind of getting to know you and seeing how Pathstone how we've worked with you and how we can be better. And then the number one person I want to thank is Jahida. Without Jahida, I would not be sane. I would not be able to do this every week. Jahida and I are a pretty solid team. We do this every week, and sometimes we set up 10 minutes beforehand, and sometimes we set up an hour beforehand and just kind of go through everything. And any kind of marketing or emails or social media posts, any kind of design work on our presentations, all the YouTube stuff, Jahida takes care of all of that and makes it look great. She makes it look easy, and I guarantee you it is not easy. She does a lot of work. So Jahida, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you want to say anything to the group here before we let everybody go and get some food, I just want to say thank you.
Well, thank you, Adam, and thank you, everyone. As I kind of mentioned before, just thank you for putting the time into your success, right? Because it really isn't about us. At the end of the day, it's about you really putting your best foot forward, and that's what we really want to help you do. So thank you for Pathstone, I guess, for having me on board. And I'm a big foodie, so I'm going to let you guys go ahead and choose your restaurant location because, food is important. So go ahead, folks.
Yeah. So for the Buffalo folks, again, remember, lunch is on us. So for everybody. But if you're in Buffalo, our options are Manna and Taste of Siam. So let us know in the chat where you want to eat. Rochester folks, we've got Peppa Pot and El Pilon Criollo. Jahida, I hope I said that right.
Yeah.
Great, cool. So Rochester folks, you have those two options. Buffalo, you have those two options. Put those in the chat. And again, those will expire this Saturday. So if you have a bunch saved up, please go use them. Please go use them. We want you guys to eat and we want to pay for it. So we can't be in person to share that experience and to share that kind of fellowship, but we at least want to feed you. So tell us in the chat where you want to go eat. All right. The big announcement is that Friday is graduation. This Friday, September 4th, from 12 to 1:30. A lot of you are going to be invited. A lot of you should be there. And we need your headshots and your bios by tomorrow at 5 p.m. to Jahida's email, which is in the chat. So please email. I know I've said this 1,000 times, but I'm saying it because I really want people to see you and see how great you guys are and to get to know you, and so that when they see you on the cover of Forbes magazine in a few years, they say, hey, I remember her from this. So please send those headshots and bios to us by 5 o'clock tomorrow to Jahida's email, and be on the lookout for your meal voucher. Again, at graduation, we're going to have some prizes for folks. So the people with the best attendance are going to be able to, you're eligible for some prizes that are being, that we're getting from some local eateries and grocery stores and some sweet shops, things like that. So please show up, and we'd love to have you. And we're going to send you information about how to, all your loved ones are going to be able to access graduation through Facebook Live. So anybody who wants to have a guest attend graduation, or you want them to see you get a shout out at graduation, they can watch it through Facebook Live. We're going to show you how to access that. You're going to get an email and everything. So Facebook Live is the easiest way. That way, really, so we don't have an issue like we had today with some punk kid coming in there and screwing us up for a couple minutes. But graduation this Friday, 12 to 1:30. no cap and gown needed. But you can wear one if you want. I thought about wearing mine just to be that guy. So we also have a couple upcoming events. So we have Next Level for Startups, which starts September 14th. And that is for anybody who has completed at least 4 sessions of boot camp. And it's for or anybody who has been in business for at least a year. I believe that's right. That's kind of the next class of boot camp. So it's the next level for startups. You're going to be learning kind of the next level of stuff you need to know to start and run your business. Again, that starts September 14th. So register for that, and we're going to be excited to have you in there. And Mr. McCarley is going to be teaching a lot of that, and he's the expert in the room. So he's looking forward to that. But before that, y'all should register for Tech Talks, which starts September 2nd. I believe that is a 6-week class. And I'm going to let Anthony do a quick pitch here of Tech Talks, where you guys will learn how to use different technology assets and websites to run your business and grow your business. Anthony, is there anything you want to kind of add to that about Tech Talks?
Nope. Hey, that was exactly what it is. How to use technology in the 21st century to just be more mindful of how you engage your customers, how you find them, how you keep the conversation going with them. So yeah, everything from marketing and sales to branding to social media and how to use that to web development and content management. So I hope to see everybody there.
Awesome. Again, both of these things are free. Everything you get through Pathstone is free. No charge, 0 charge. So please sign up for that. We're going to be doing online courses really for probably the next 8 to 12 months. So just keep being on the lookout for all that stuff. Stay connected with us through social media and through our events. Tech Talks starts on Wednesday. Next Level starts in 2 weeks. And other than that, I think we are at a point where I can thank everybody once again. You guys, this has been a true joy to get to talk to everybody and see everybody's face every week and hear from everybody and engage. So thank you for showing up. And even if you are not going to be a graduate, we still invite you to attend graduation. We're going to have some cool speakers and people are going to get to talk, and we're going to get to kind of showcase your classmates. So please show up to that. And for those of you who are graduating, you'll be getting an email and walking you through all that. But guys, thank you so much. This has been a true joy. I know we went over a little bit today, but we will be in touch with you guys, and we wish you the best of luck. And we will see you as you continue your success. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're awesome, man.